Hey guys, weird coloring. Look at that. It's like I'm swimming in apricot jelly for some reason with this lighting going on. The sun is shining onto my floor over there and through the curtains, which are really thick velvet curtains, a bit pink. And for some reason, it creates this really smoky color. I kind of like it. So okay, let's just forge ahead, you know? This is going to be a bit of an endeavor. So I hope you can, tag along for this episode here of the total weirdness that's going on in my house. I pulled a card this morning and out came the Page of Swords again. Same deck, same as yesterday. Everything quite predictable on that side. I pulled two cards sitting on either side of the Page of Swords and got the Queen of Wands, the King of Swords on the one side, and the Queen of Swords and the Jupiter, aka High Priest or, spiritual leader, kind of a card on the other side. So far, so good. I find this kind of interesting because there's a very strong male-female symmetry in this. This Page of Swords was the card for my house spirit yesterday, okay? In my house spirit spread that I did, that I got from Natalie at Sanskrit Blue. But it doesn't seem to leave me alone. It seems like there's more that I have to extract from this, apparently. So a strong sort of a male-female symmetry in this whole thing going on, where there are three court cards. One is actually a major card, so that's different. I am tempted to say that these are the parents, the swords court cards. Definitely the king and queen are, so to speak, the parents of the house spirit, as if that's where he comes from, this house spirit of mine influences where I might think that the king comes from my husband's side in terms of personal influence, in his work ethics, in his the way he's always making himself available for a higher purpose or for the job at hand, the way he goes about those things. The Queen of Swords would be my side of things, where I relate that card strongly to my own mother with her attitude. There's an interesting way of interpreting the cards using the past and or the other way around, depending on how you look at it. Where the other two cards, so the Queen of Wands and the Jupiter card, are more about what I consider feeling lucky, really. This is a lucky house, apparently. And it is lucky because we are always hopeful, because we believe, apparently, it has been instilled in us to some extent, to be receptive to luck. You have to be, you have to believe. Just like, Oogway says to Shifu in Kung Fu Panda 1, you just have to believe. Like that. But it does have something to do with that. With me certainly not accepting ever a situation or a life path that isn't, in the end, somewhere along the line, going to be positive and beneficial, not only to ourselves, but to everybody who comes in contact with us. I have this firm conviction, it's not even a belief, it's a total conviction, that I am myself a lucky person, but it's more important that the house is lucky, because the house means being lucky in the long term. And that means that you are resilient and versatile and capable of dealing with, setbacks and things, and you need a place for that to happen. You need to be able to settle down somewhere, which is what was missing in my old life with my mum back in the day, okay? With the Queen of Swords here. We learned how important things are, which things are really important, and what it takes. I suppose I learned a lot from my mother. So the two swords people here are really about what we learned and what is really the positive end result of that alchemy of having to grow up with, you know, with those people and with the problems they had and the history and all of it. And there's a sort of a, funnily enough, 50 or 60 or 70 years on down the line, there can be a, you know, a really positive result if you just are willing to look at it that way somehow. So that's kind of so far my analysis for those 5 cards. Of course, what I then did is I went and looked up in my deck the positions of how the Page of Swords sees us in my previous spread. Okay, so the page sees us, in my case me respectively, as a Knight of Cups, and it sees my husband as the Knight of Swords. Okay, so I keep having to pause here because I have a terribly itchy nose. I don't want you to have to look at the, you know, going up and down here. And then I looked again, you know, I looked at the cards on either side of those 2 Knights cards in the deck as I had it, you know, without shuffling in between, of course, because that was this whole, it's like a significator trail that I'm using. And this has been happening to me on and on recently, where I felt interested to look at, for example, the cards that were on either sides of all the 10s. And then I got into a path where I had to look at the cards that were on either side of the 9s. And it all made sense. That was 2 weeks ago. You know, I didn't publish that on here at that time because I felt it was just getting nowhere and it was getting really complicated. So the cards that were on either side for me were these 2 3s, okay, 3 of Wands and the 3 of Swords. I won't go into too much detail for this. I'm just showing it to you to show you how pretty they are, okay? On either side of the Knight of Swords are these 2, a 2 and a 6. So 2 3s over there and a 2 and a 6 over here, which I find just amazing, okay? Plus the 6 of Cups was the card of what the house spirit feels is the energy of this house. So there's a distinction there. And it comes out close to my husband's personal card. So I just thought that was really, it's just so pretty and so striking and harmonious. It just makes me happy. The last card or set of cards that I want to show you, and it will hopefully dovetail me into my other part of this video, is I looked up the cards on either side of the Queen of Pentacles. That was the energy that the house spirit wants me to be aware of. So my caretaker role, really, in terms of practical matters and looking after this house, really, and looking after the whole thing that is this whole operation with all those people. Wow. I've got a house full of people now. On either side in the deck of this Queen of Pentacles card, so we're finally into Pentacles country now, I have a Page of Pentacles, like so, and the Strength card. So this is another set of really, you know, really fitting kinds of images and kinds of symbols here. And another reason why I find the Strength card here particularly interesting, not only is it my sun sign, Leo, that is represented here. For me, This card has everything to do with my Tumo practice and my Shakti energy work and my, my whole Kundalini yoga practice that I've been talking about the whole time here. So I am seeing that the two cards on either side of the Queen of Pentacles here are, they show my Tumo work on the one hand and my genuine real-time inner child work on the other. But it's not the Page of Cups that I'm getting here, or the Page of Wands, which could be either of those, could apply. It's the Page of Pentacles. So this is why I said real time, it feels, my body has everything to do also with Tumo energy and with Shakti work and with inner child work, with how good my immune system is coping, how strong my bones are, how well my digestion is coping, all that type of stuff. That's really what this card brings home to me. It isn't about me as a, princess of dreams, if ever, if that were a thing, which it used to be in the past. I used to be an enormous dreamer. I used to have no other reality but my dreams. But that's not what this is about. And it's not about big plans and big projects and big, ideals and growing things like that. It is all about, hands down, to the earth, into the body, and what that does and what that means, what memories do in your body, emotional body, that kind of stuff, So, excellent work, I think. These are just really pretty cards. I will do a write-up for myself as well, because I just keep doing that. I may as well show you my little notebook, sets of notebooks that I have for this kind of stuff, and then buckle this up for now. This is my notebook. It has a couple of strange looking photographs on the outside that are really sections of pieces of wood that I found in France. This is where I keep my serious spread notes. So not the spreads as of themselves, actual readings, in a particular spread. And I always have to write down the questions and do the whole thing, where I will more or less go like this, making little squares with the actual cards in them. I've used this a lot over the past. This is finally, the format that works for me, where I can actually come back to things that I put my dates in. I can come back to readings, repeat readings that I like over and over, use different decks for different types of readings at different times, and so on and so forth, and just keep turn it into it sort of becomes a construction. It builds itself up more and more, and that's just really interesting to me, and I enjoy it hugely. I enjoy inventing spreads occasionally. I don't do that very often, but I really enjoyed using different colors, ink as well, just like most people will do here, in order to sort of, that's a basic necessity, I feel, to keep track of, this is my questions, this is the cards I got for them, this is how I interpret those cards, like at least 3 different colors, and then you can tie things up amongst each other according to element or whatever you like, lots of good stuff is being had on this level. And my other booklet is this one. This I ornamented on the outside with a ton of beads and lots of pretty things in there. This is my this is my go-to book of meanings for tarot, where I cut out and pasted in little here you can see it pretty well. I think that's a King of Wands right there, from a Visconti Sforza sheet of paper that I could just print out from the internet. And it has, like so, all these you know, little images, one per set of pages, like so, and I can copy out and write in my meanings as I run into them. I've been using this for over a year now, and there's still a lot of room, which is great. And I have stressed at the beginning, I was really working on dark meanings for this booklet. I wanted the meanings to be the less obvious ones. So for the Page of Swords right here, I wrote down a set of just a set of 2 meanings, really, which I could really complete at this time with my readings today or yesterday or before. But the meanings that I have here for the Page of Swords would be: I am not aware or don't want to be aware of other people's needs, and or I don't see my own connectedness, my own connection to a situation or whatever it is. So it's like a detachment kind of a deal. It's often, those are the meanings that I started out with. I went often for, there's still a couple of cards in here that haven't got any write-up in them, to them, I think. But by now, most of them actually do have some kind of a write-up, where I, like I said, I went for the darkest possible meaning that I could come up with. Also depending on what came out in actual spreads, using, of course, all sorts of different decks. I have used, over the past year, a couple of times, I've used the Ghost Tarot, which is a Lo Scarabeo deck, quite a few times, in order to easily get at a darker meaning. This is a really great way, I felt, not only because the Ghost Tarot is really pretty and really you know, entertaining to use, and it has a lot of atmosphere. And I've had, even during this summer in our holiday, I have a small version that I made, you know, printed out and pasted onto cardboard, and I made a little spread cloth that goes with it really well. It's just so pretty too. I made a couple of photographs of just some random kind of a spread that I did at some point, just because the colors of the cards and the colors of my spread cloth went together so well. I was just amazed at, you know, how happy that made me. So but the Ghost Tarot is actually provided, because it has ghosts instead of ordinary living people in it, you know, it provides often a different kind of a framework for your position that you're in, your question, your... So I found that really useful as just as kind of a stepping stone into darker territory, if you like, to help me investigate less obvious motivations that people, in myself included, may have in any kind of context where, you know, there may be pretty dark motives. There may be pretty dark things going on. And I want to be, sometimes I really want to be aware of those. So there's my husband again. He's calling me again. I'm going to hang up the phone right here. This was what I had to say today. I will go into Tumo another time. Okay? Thank you for watching, my dears. See you next time.